You are listening to Offensive Lines with Marlon and Boyd. Small stakes NFL gambling for the average fan.
Welcome to Offensive Lines. I'm Marlon.
I'm Boyd.
And we finally got here, people. It's been a long walk through a desert of courtrooms and terrible preseason games, but the season is upon us.
It's about fucking time.
Yes. We're not going to waste a lot of time here tonight. As everyone knows, Tom Brady was released on technicalities. Not exonerated, I might add. But he will be playing. Now it's the Steelers who have huge suspension issues.
Okay, I disagree with what you said on technicalities because I don't think he did anything wrong. One, that is not being done all over the place, and why it seems the Patriots seem to get the harshest criticism of anybody doing shitty stuff is beyond me. Fucking Atlanta pumps crowd noise in. Fuck, they weren't calling for heads and fucking... Ugh, it's fucking brutal. Witch hunt, and now Goodell's leaking shit about fucking Spygate, if you can believe it.
Oh yeah,
40
between
games
the ESPN
they taped
and between ESPN and the SI report,
smear him whichever way you can. Fuck, it's.
Yep.
He botched everything. Is trying to cover his ass with this thing with the Patriots by drudging up old
His
shit
earlier
that he should.
fuck
He
up
could have
with the
handled.
Patriots.
Yeah, he could have handled that totally different.
Yeah, it's a strange strategy to point to your earlier ineptitude to excuse your current ineptitude. I don't know that that's ever been tried before. It's experimental, but I like it.
Yeah, bullshit.
I just want it to go away. I'm really starting to believe this is just wag the dog.
Well, it is. But
nobody talks about any other bullshit as long as this is focusing it, and it's still focusing it. It's the greatest extreme of the no ink or bad ink is better than no ink, and I'm just tired of it. So,
well, and it takes away all discussion.
Chatting right now.
No, but it takes away all discussion from concussion problems. All the suspensions they've had for drug infractions, the domestic abuse thing that came up last year. We've talked about deflated bulls for fucking 6 months.
Yeah.
8 months.
Well, yeah, that's exactly what I meant there. And
no, I know.
I didn't think they were competent enough to run that strategy, but their inability to let anything go on this, I'm starting to believe that, yep, that's what they're doing, and I guess bravo.
Well, no, I think Goodell can't. He somehow thought this would save him face. And as a lawyer, how did he think he was going to win that? He lost on every point.
But he's not a lawyer. He's an economist. He has a BA in economics.
He was on legal counsel under fucking Tagliabue.
No,
he was head legal counsel.
No. He does not have a law degree in any way. He has a BA in economics. It's this Jim Pash guy, like the legal advisors. Trust me, Goodell is not a lawyer. I'm serious. BA in economics. But that's neither here nor there. So, beyond all that, we're going to touch on the final episode of Hard Knocks a little bit on our Monday roundup. We haven't had a chance to see it yet. We're recording this on the Tuesday night. And our copies haven't arrived in the mail from HBO yet. So, we haven't seen the final episode. We won't spend a lot of time on that, but we will, I think, probably touch on it on our recap show Monday.
Yeah. Sounds like a plan. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the end, even though I know all the spoilers already.
Yeah, I had to look because I knew we'd be doing the pod before we saw the show, and Was a little bit disappointed with some of the results, but that's what it is when you get a reality show versus the reality of NFL football.
Yeah, they weren't stopping.
It doesn't matter how photogenic you are.
No, and I just saw it on Twitter. I didn't even go looking for it. It just came out on Twitter. But if you listen to podcasts previous about Hard Knocks, you'll know who we're talking about. We won't give the spoiler away for anybody who hasn't seen it yet. But if you've listened to us before, you know who got cut without us saying the names.
Okay, with that out of the way, do you know what time it is?
It's motherfucking game time!
That's right. It's motherfucking game time.
Yes, it is. Unfortunately, I think the first game on the schedule isn't going to be that competitive. To be honest.
I want to stay away from this one, gambling-wise. I'll just say that right at the start.
Yes.
Pittsburgh are 7-point underdogs going into the Super Bowl champions. A lot of people might have forgotten that in everything else. But yeah, the Patriots won the Super Bowl. They are 7-point favorites over the Steelers in New England.
Yeah, unless the Steelers can put up 30, I don't know how they're within 7.
No, but I don't know that putting up a lot of points is impossible. The New England secondary is completely rebuilt. I have no opinion on it yet, but I doubt it'll be as good as Browner and Rivas.
No, but how are they running the football? With Bell sidelined for 2?
Oh yeah, well that's definitely a pro. Like I'm not going to read anything into this game when it's done. You know, if New England wins 28-14, which is entirely possible, people are going to be saying, "Oh, the Patriots are in FU mode," which is absurd.
Well,
They're
I think
not the Incredible Hulk. They
I
don't
think
get
the
better when
Patriots,
they get angry.
Tom Brady does.
What? He's going to work harder? Last year of the FU, his receivers were Stallworth, Moss, Welker, Watson at tight end, and Falk running the ball as the principal among a platoon. The only upgrade of that now is Gronkowski is better than Watson. Though Watson was really no slouch. You can't just will this. They're not the Hulk. Don't get us angry. Fuck that. I've been hearing that all fucking week, and it's been pissing me off.
Wait for it. I don't. They're going to step. If they can keep pounding on points, that to me is what it is. Not that they can do
I
it at
agree
will,
with you on that, yes.
But if they're better than a team, they won't slow down.
No, they will likely run up the score, yes. That I'll agree with. The fact that suddenly this will make them a much better football team.
No, that's not what it means. It means when they are significantly better than a team, which I think they are, than the Steelers.
Well,
they'll just keep putting up points.
Steelers squad. I think this game would be a lot more interesting with Le'Veon Bell.
No, the Steelers' defense is brutal.
Oh, it is. Brutal. Well, let's see. I mean, you've got Gronkowski and you've got Edelman. Aaron Dobson scares you?
Brandon LaFell had 75 to 80 catches last year. Was targeted 115, 120 times. They're not just a one-receiver team.
They're pretty close. I still am taking New England in this one to cover. You?
New England's going to kill them. Kill them.
All right.
They're going to kill them.
I still won't be completely sold about... This was supposed to be the suspension bowl. The Steelers are good on offense, or at least were. We'll see what Pouncey does. We'll see what... Le'Veon Bell was fantastic. Pouncey could be a huge injury for the Steelers, but this isn't the Steelers. I don't see why this should be treated much differently than New England without Brady. When you've lost two of your top three offensive weapons... I think it would be rash to leap to judgment on the Steelers.
Well, I don't know how they're doing anything on defense against a competent offense this year.
Well, this will be a test, and I think it'll be a half test for the rebuilt New England secondary. Plus, maybe he's past his prime. New England is excellent at dumping people 1 year before they suck, but they also lost Wilfork.
Yeah.
On the line, so it'll be interesting, but
the Patriots are the Patriots, and they're going to crush Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I'm taking
unless
them
like
to
you
cover.
said, unless like you said, their secondary is just horrific. Pittsburgh only has one weapon.
That is true.
In this game, they have one weapon.
This is the day that Marcus Wheaton steps up, but I'm doubting it.
Yeah, right.
No. I'm really doubting it. Okay, let's move on to Sunday games. The day almost all football should be played on, under God's real plan.
Yeah, and let's not forget, all Thursday games start next week. Fuck.
Well, yeah, there's no
Kansas City,
Thursday.
Denver.
Oh, we should state at the outset here, typically we don't bet Thursday games at all because they're terrible. We'll occasionally break that rule, but our other rule as we make our picks here and our bets are we do not bet Tennessee or San Diego games because we are fans of those two teams.
And a lot of the time we'd be betting against them. So it's hard to cheer for them to win and lose at the same time.
Yeah, it's very conflicted. And we typically make 3 bets per week, but we're adding a wrinkle this year, whereas one of those bets has to be an underdog. Whether we bet that money line or against the spread, that remains to be seen. But we've noticed in past years, we've tended to favor the favorites. And this is just something we're doing to kind of force ourselves into considering underdogs a little more seriously.
Yeah, I like the idea.
Yeah, that was your idea. I was on board with it in 1 second.
Yeah, and it forces us to do a little more research on underdogs and study it a little closer because it's easy to bet favorites, and that's why Vegas makes
I was just going to say.
Because everybody likes to bet the favorite. And there's always, 5-6 games at least the underdog covers? We just have to find one of those.
Yeah, and it's actually closer to 50-50. So the underdog covers in about 50% of the games over the last 10 years, I believe. So anyway, Sunday games, starting off with the Carolina Panthers, our 3-point road favorites at the Jaguars.
I don't want to touch this game.
Neither do I.
I don't know what either one of these teams is yet.
No, I have no idea. I'm strangely enough leaning towards Jacksonville, but I would not bet it.
No, I'm taking Carolina just on quarterbacking, running backs. Their defense was better than Jacksonville last year. They should probably win the South in the NFC. What scares me, no wideouts really to speak of. They've got Funchess from Michigan, a rookie who
He's
they
not
were
going
hoping
to be playing.
Is he hurt too?
Yeah.
So they have Jericho Cotchery and I don't know who else.
Well, Funchess checked the injury. I'm not 100% on that, but I thought he was dinged up too, and they weren't expecting him in week 1. That may have changed from the last I looked.
Okay, well, if he does play, they only have him and Cotchery of anybody I'd ever heard of.
And Cotchery, you usually don't refer to in a positive way.
Oh, he's a good possession receiver. I'd put him more in the... No, I'm not saying he's as good as Edelman, but that's what they'd use him like.
Yeah.
He's not a deep threat anymore.
And he tends to drop a lot of balls. That O-line doesn't look good. And, no. I mean, I like Olsen at tight end, but he's not quite an old-school tight end. But his average catch is probably only for about 8 yards.
You know, I don't know what Jacksonville has either.
Well,
They have the rookie running back, who's supposed to be good, Yeldon. He got the starting job. And who do they have at quarterback? Bortles.
They have Robinson at wideout. Robinson and... Is Marquise Lee playing in this game? Because he was another rookie they took last year.
But I just don't know what they're going to be. If Carolina's defense is as good as last year, they should cover this. That's why I'm leaning
and that's
towards
a fair
Carolina.
assessment. I just don't like backing road favorites who are as marginal as the Panthers are. I don't know that they're 6 points better than Jacksonville. I think these are both pretty terrible football teams. And when I say 6 points, that's because typically the home team is given 3 points for the home field advantage, if you can call it that, in Jacksonville. So looking at it that way, I'm not certain Carolina's 6 points better.
That's the hardest thing about week one. Nobody shows anything in preseason anymore. So you have no clue what they have. And with this many injuries and new players and everything involved in this matchup, not a clue. But I'm leaning towards Carolina. Newton can beat him with his feet. And Olsen's a good, I'd say, top 4 tight end?
Yeah, I'd put him
in the NFL.
He doesn't have the flash of any of the rest, but he's steady. He's a football player. He's a damn good player. So but at a certain point, I could see them putting a cornerback on him, for fuck's sake, based on Carolina's other receivers.
Yeah, but I think they have enough. I think they try and run more than anything and use play action. So
yeah. No, that's fair. I'm going to take Jacksonville, though, just because I don't like road favorites, particularly weak teams as road favorites. Next up, we have the Cleveland Browns are +3 at the New York Jets.
I like Cleveland here.
So do I, but do we like them enough to go?
Well, this wasn't my underdog pick.
This was one of the ones I was considering.
To bet on, but
strangely enough, Cleveland's defense is really good.
Yeah. Don't know what they have on offense. They have
and don't know what
back.
The suspension of their offensive line coach, what effect, if any, that'll have.
None.
Their quarterback situation is a disaster.
Who is starting there?
It's McCown.
Okay.
Isn't it?
I think so, yeah. Manziel just started throwing again. So they have McCown. Like you mentioned, great defense. Rookie running back. They traded Terrence West to the Titans.
Yeah. So they've got Isaiah Crowell and the rookie.
Duke Johnson.
The Jets are thin on the defensive line, which was their strength, between suspensions and injuries. I kind of like Cleveland here.
Yeah, Revis, I don't know what he can do. Didn't improve the secondary. I could see him picking McCown off for a touchdown.
Yeah, that's true.
That
defensive scores are possible, but I could see Hayden picking off Fitzpatrick, too.
Yeah, that's the other fucking X factor.
I mean, Fitzpatrick and McCown are a bit of the same thing.
Yeah.
Maybe Fitzpatrick is a little better. I mean,
but
the Jets
Jekyll
do have better targets between Decker and a crippled Brandon Marshall. I don't think we're going to end up going here, but I like Cleveland here.
Yeah, me too. I don't know if I can, because who knows? Fitzpatrick is, I saw him in Tennessee, saw him last year with Houston a bunch. He can have stretches where he looks like a fucking all-pro quarterback, and then he has a brain fart and throws a pick that costs him the game.
Yeah,
you don't know which one you're going to get.
No, but his brain farts are surprisingly rare. Like, his turnover differential makes him look like a better quarterback than he is. He just manages to do it in the ugliest possible way at the worst possible time.
Well, yeah, look at his record as a starter. I'm not saying he was on great teams, but fuck. Tennessee could have been a playoff team if he could have played better that year he started for them.
Yeah. And I'm not saying Cleveland offensively is even a good team, but everyone talks about the Jets' defense. In my opinion, Cleveland's defense is superior.
Yeah.
So I doubt we'll go there, but I'm going to take Cleveland on a flyer here.
Me too.
Okay.
I just think the Jets are horrible. And Hugh Jackson isn't a great coach. And with all the Geno Smith shit and all that, ugh.
It's a mess. Everyone's bitching about Conch. It's just a complete mess. Not to say... And when we're saying Cleveland is less of a mess? Are we saying that, Boyd?
That Randy Moeller thing. If it was a player, I think it would have more impact. But an O-line coach, was he teach technique?
You would think so.
Fuck? And he handles meetings.
Yeah.
Does position meetings. Like, fuck, I'm sure that he has an assistant that'll just take that over. Can't be that fucking difficult a job. I don't think it's that high priority of a job at this stage. Maybe if they lost him during training camp, it might have been more damaging. But at this point, they should know what the fuck they're doing or they wouldn't be on the team.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
okay, next up, we have the Green Bay Packers visiting the Chicago Bears. Green Bay is favored by 7.
This is one of the games I like.
Really?
Because Chicago's horrible.
Chicago is horrible. I don't hate it.
Alshon Jeffrey's
I'm uncomfortable laying 7.
Still dealing with a calf problem.
Yeah, I know. So it's going to be Forte and Bennett, who are talents.
But Green Bay will win this by 21. Their defense is atrocious. Nobody wants Cutler there. Nobody really cares for the guy. They couldn't trade him.
Well, not at that salary.
No, but what does he have for targets if Jeffrey's limited?
Martellus Bennett?
You just have to worry. Yeah, but that's one tight end.
White's gone, not the rookie receiver. Yeah, no, this is pretty solid.
And when you have Aaron Rodgers and Eddie Lacy, even without Jordy Nelson, Randall Cobb...
I don't think that Jordy Nelson hurts them as badly as people imply. The injury that hurts the Packers is if Rodgers goes down.
Yeah.
Almost every receiver who plays with him turns into, if not a superstar, at least a rock-solid receiver. Eddie Lacy is underrated, if anything.
Yeah, they'll put up 30.
Yeah.
Against the Bears.
Okay, this one's definitely marked and is a probable. I just hate laying 7 in week 1. This is where this is where guys get killed in their survivor pools.
Yeah, but this is one of those teams that this should be an easy game for them. Like, the Bears aren't good. They weren't good last year. They didn't really upgrade anywhere. Their big signing was Ray McDonald.
Yeah.
And he got cut before even putting on a jersey for practice. Like,
it might have even been before his press conference to announce his signing.
They're in as much disarray as Cleveland or the Jets. I don't know. They seem to have gotten a pass for the coaching staff they hired before that they fired last year.
With Trestman and that gang.
Yeah, it was just a fucking mess.
Yeah, and their best string in the past 4 years was with the aforementioned McCown filling in at quarterback.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, no, you've made a solid case there. Okay. Moving on, we have the Indianapolis Colts Going to Buffalo. They are 2.5-point favorites. This is my underdog pick.
This was the one I wanted to bet on too.
And I think we're getting plus 150 on the money line, or at least
no, it's plus 125.
Oh, is it? Damn it!
Yeah.
I'm just. Oh yeah, it is 125.
Yeah.
Now, versus negative 105, do we want to take the points here? But, well, let's explain why. One, Indy, it's not as profound as, like, Drew Brees outdoors or anything, but Indy plays best in their dome. They play much better at home inside. Buffalo pass rush is terrifying. Their run defense is terrifying. Yes, there are problems in the secondary, but I don't think that Indy O-line will give Andrew Luck enough time to get to Hilton, who's at his best as just a deep fly receiver. He's not the best route runner on the planet, people.
No, they did add Andre Johnson, though, for that effect. And Frank Gore's the best back they've had under Andrew Luck.
I don't think Frank Gore is going to crack 40 yards.
Oh, I hope not. I'm just saying this is the best back they've had.
Yeah, I agree with it. You're
totally right on the offensive line. It's horrible. And the reason I picked this game is Indy starts slow every year. For whatever reason, at least the last couple of years. Weren't they 0-2 last year?
I can't remember. You'd be more familiar because they're in your division.
They were 0-2 or 1-2, something like that last year, off the start, and then they cranked it up. And when you have to go against probably a top 3 defense this year on the road.
Well, yeah, I believe Buffalo was the number 2 defense in DVOA last year.
Yeah.
Like, they were good, and they kept most of it. Maybe they won't be as good. It's hard to sustain that, right? Defenses typically don't. But I still think they're good, and I've got real problems with him as a head coach, but Rex Ryan knows how to coach a defense.
My biggest concern in Buffalo is Tyrod Taylor, who's been in the league 5 years, and this is his first starting gig. They've upgraded at tight end with Charles Clay. They added Percy Harvin. They added DeMarco Murray.
They had Sammy Watkins already.
Or not DeMarco Murray, LaShawn McCoy, who's iffy.
Yeah.
They have Carlos Williams, a rookie running back that's supposed to be good. Who the fuck knows? If McCoy can't go. Defense is almost the same as last year. As far as an upset game goes, this is the most confident one I could find.
I tend to agree with that, and part of it, I saw Buffalo, particularly at home, not give an inch to good offenses. Green Bay, Detroit. They were just savage, and that wasn't just dependent on a cream puff offense.
Yeah,
and I don't see them
last year
particularly going backwards. I mean, they might fall a bit, but I think they're, like you said, probably still a top 5 defense.
So
yes, their secondary I have questions about, but it's predicated on the pass rush, and I don't think
that's. Sorry, go ahead.
No.
I got ahead of myself.
No, and I don't think Indy's offensive line can stop this rush. And we know defenses play motivated for Rex Ryan.
Yes, and what I was going to mention was that you don't have to have a great secondary if your pass rush is great.
Now, you're right about the offense with Tyrod Taylor, but I'm not a fan of the Indy defense at all either. if they can turn a pretty terrible Buffalo offensive line into a run-blocking unit, you couldn't get a softer team to do it against than the Colts.
Yes. Although they did have success against Cincinnati last year when they were running the ball well, but that was at home too. So they're just a slow-starting team for whatever reason they have the last couple of years. And going against one of the top defenses doesn't usually change that. So the only way I think we lose this bet is if fucking Buffalo can't score. If Taylor's horrible, because E.J. Manuel's the backup.
No, they re-signed Castle and put him at the number 2 slot.
Oh, fuck. Well, is that any better? Well, yes.
Yeah, it is better.
Yeah, he can at least throw the ball.
Manuel's terrible. Just brutal. Okay, well, that's a probable bet.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. We have the Kansas City Chiefs at the Houston Texans. The Chiefs are +1.
Which surprises me. Doesn't it surprise you?
Not really. The Chiefs' defense is good. Houston's O-line is bad. I'm not convinced of Hoyer.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm thinking the Chiefs should be favored.
Oh, okay. Okay, I thought... All right, I was going the other way with your...
No, I'm... With Hoyer, with Foster out, losing Andre Johnson. I know they have DeAndre Hopkins, but they don't have anything else proven. At wide, they have Nate Washington and Cecil Shorts, which aren't horrible as options at receiver, but with the offensive line looking like they did in the preseason, and thanks to Hard Knocks for that, I think Kansas City, with Alex Smith, adding Macklin at wideout, they have Kels at tight end. They still have arguably the best running back in football in Charles, and a solid defense. As good as J.J. Watt is, the defense isn't great. It's okay. But they have secondary issues.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're getting out of Clowney or how long Cushing's going to stay healthy. This was my other pick for an upset game, but price-wise, it's not worth it. They're a minus 105 as +1 on the money line. We're better off betting Buffalo. Either way, money line or spread.
Yeah, but we don't have to limit ourselves to one underdog either. We just have to have at least one. No, that's I agree with you a lot, and I still think in a lot of ways Andy Reid is a good coach.
Yeah, it's his clock management that's always a pain in the ass.
Clock management and the fact that for the first 3 weeks last year, I believe, he didn't run Jamal Charles, which is a bit foolish. But I think you can run screens against Houston.
Yeah.
I mean, in fact, that's one of the plays I would do to neutralize Watt. Is let him get in a little bit and throw it behind him.
Or run at him. That's how you take most good defensive ends out.
The screen works too, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But I'm just saying, on top of that, you just run it at him.
And Reed is the master of the screen pass. Has been his whole career. No, I like this game a lot. Well, we're going to have a bunch to whittle down here, as it turns out. Okay.
Houston's offense doesn't worry me at all with Kansas City's defense.
Now, Kansas, I mean, we're saying this a lot, or it seems I'm saying this a lot. Their secondary's bad, but I don't think Hoyer's the guy who can exploit it, particularly when there's only one real threat at wideout. I mean, they had 12 wideouts in camp. You think they're satisfied with the ones they kept? I mean, that's just taking the best of a sorry lot.
Yeah, did you know who they kept?
Well, as you said, Cecil Shorts and Nate Washington, I believe.
Yeah, but did they keep them? I'm looking at their final roster here. Because I was away over the weekend when the cuts were made. I didn't even look at anything.
Oh, there were so many and so many names I didn't know that I lost interest after a while.
I'm just pulling up their depth chart here quick.
Well, most of the guys we saw in
offense.
Hard Knocks playing the preseason games were cut. So I can't imagine there were guys behind them who didn't get playing time that made the team, you know?
Well, they have Cecil Shorts and Hopkins starting. Then they have Johnson, Martin, and Mumphrey. So Washington didn't make it.
Okay, well, that actually makes me feel better because he's a reliable receiver, or has been most of his career.
And what the hell did they do with that third stringer? Their third round pick. He didn't make it. The fuck was his name? Strong.
Oh, okay.
He didn't make it.
I might be on the practice squad.
Which is surprising
Yeah.
that you don't have a third string, even as a backup. Yeah, Jalen Strong. They don't have him. He's not on the team.
Okay. All
That's a
right.
shock.
Let's move on to the next game. We're always slow in week one. Sorry, we pick up the pace over time.
Well, yeah, we have to talk more because who knows what the fuck these teams are yet. It
That's
gets
true.
easier the later we get into the season
Yep.
because you can see what teams have.
All right. The next game, we have another road favorite. The Miami Dolphins are favored by 3.5 over the Redskins.
This is a game I liked here.
Yeah.
Quite a bit.
I said a bunch about road favorites, but it seems like the Dolphins' strength directly hits the Redskins' greatest weakness.
Well, I just like Miami's defense this year. Adding Sue.
I like their
With-
line. That's as far as I'm going to go at this stage.
No, but who's the other Canadian reject?
Cameron
Or not
Wake.
reject. Cameron Wake. Couldn't remember his name.
Yeah, he's
But
a
Sue and Wake-
linebacker technically, but he's one of those hybrid defensive ends almost. He's useless against the run.
Well, they can't double team him anymore.
No, well, I mean, Sue's going to make an impact. They're going to get sacks. It's going to be impressive. But if anyone can flip that ball out, there is nothing behind in terms of linebacker or cornerback skill.
Well,
And that's what I meant about
Washington's a mess.
Oh, I know. And unless the offensive line was trying to get Robert Griffin killed, which is a distinct possibility, that line looks terrible, and they should just get eaten up. Washington
I hope
has
so.
some talent
Yeah,
around
Morris.
there, but I also don't hate Miami on offense. They're not great, but they're not a terrible team on offense.
No, Tannehill's going to have 4,000 to 4,500 yards passing. Lamar Miller's a steady back, nothing outstanding.
No, but I like him. I like those blue-collar guys, so to speak.
Yeah,
Jarvis Landry is good. Like, they're brutal in the red zone, from recollection. But
And then
I
they
don't
lose their
think
best tight
Miami's a
end.
terrible, terrible team.
no, they're not the class of that division. All these people that are saying they're going to challenge the Patriots, I don't see it.
Now, to go to the math I used on Carolina, do you think they're 6.5 points better than Washington?
Yes.
I'm more inclined to agree with you on that.
I do. Just Washington showed nothing in the preseason but dysfunctional slop from the handling of Griffin to all the fucking leaks to the press that they're trying to trade him and all that other shit.
Are they going to trade him for blowjobs?
It's just bad. The whole fucking situation from oh yeah, the fucking blowjob thing. I fucking forgot about that for a second.
Okay.
But it's a nightmare from Snyder down. It's Al Davis reincarnated in Daniel Snyder. It's going to be that
No, Al
dysfunctional.
Davis won.
No,
he
but
won
it's,
for a hell of a long time, and he was
No,
a
I
fucking
know.
genius for a couple of decades before it all went to shit. So Schneider does not deserve that comparison.
Nah, he was
hasn't-
always fucking crazy.
He was
fucking
always
benched
crazy,
Marcus
but he was-
Allen. He benched Marcus
That
Allen
was when
after
he
the
started
Super
to go
Bowl.
crazy, but he'd already won a ton, hugely influenced the development of the league. He was an evil genius in his younger days. He just should have had the syphilis treated. Because it ate his brain. But Schneider does not deserve anywhere near that level of respect at any point. It's been a disaster since minute one. Remember
That's
the old
not
ball
good
coach? And how much is he still paying coaches he's fired?
Fuck,
Probably
isn't he
at
still
least
paying
one
some
or
players?
two.
He's still paying. Isn't he still paying Hainsworth?
It's possible. He and Gibbs go by, pick up their checks together.
So, but Washington's just horrible.
Yeah, I just had to ask the question, though I tend to agree with you on that. All right, well, we already have 5 possibles here, so we'll see. Next game up, Seattle, -4 at the Rams.
I don't want to touch this one.
I don't want to touch it. If the Rams had anything on offense, I'd be intrigued.
I'm intrigued to see what Jimmy Graham does if he adds anything to that passing game, which is not good.
Yeah,
We'll see how good
and the
Seattle's
O-line
offensive
looks
line
brutal.
is.
Like, Wilson doesn't even
Forward.
get that 2 seconds to survey and then start running around and looking for a receiver anymore. It's a jailbreak out there, or was in the preseason.
Yeah, the Raiders gave him problems in the preseason, but who knows?
And the Rams' pass rush is really fucking good, too.
Yes, it is. And they blitz a ton.
That front 7 is sick. Yeah, and you never know where it's coming from. They blitz... I think I read they blitzed on over 70% of their plays last year.
That's the Fisher-Williams way.
So, if I thought the Rams could score a point, not on special teams or defense, I'd probably take them in this.
And Nick Foles, outside of the Philly system, isn't a good quarterback.
No, he's Kirk Cousins. I mean, we just went through Washington. He's not good. He's not good in any level. He's Kirk Cousins, he's Matt Castle, he's any one of a dozen guys of that ilk.
And the Cardinals, or the Rams, wide receivers aren't very good. They've got Kenny Britt, Tavon Austin, Jared Cook at tight end. The receiving core isn't stellar. Gurley's not playing in week 1. He was just cleared for contact this week. That was their first-round pick, who had a torn ACL coming out of college. So they knew they weren't going to have him right away. But I guess he didn't have Adrian Peterson's doctors. And they're just shaky on offense. Foles was
I say
making passes
I say it's beyond shaky. Like, I'd be shocked if the offensive unit clears 250 total yards and puts out more than 10 points on offense.
But Seattle always has trouble in St. Louis the last 3 years.
Well, and with this O-line, well, that's why, I mean, at 4 points, I'm still tempted to take the Rams, but I don't want to talk about betting this shit game.
No, me either. And Seattle's been a fairly average road team the last 3 years with Wilson at quarterback.
Yeah, but most of their losses are against teams with good quarterbacks, or at least good quick read, quick release quarterbacks. That's not Foles. I mean, that year in Philly that he had that was so crazy was just wrong. He would lob up a duck to Riley Cooper, who would come back 8 yards for the underthrown ball and somehow manage to catch it in a crowd. I mean, yeah, I'm gonna take Seattle, by the way. I just changed.
I'm taking St. Louis.
I don't blame you. I talked myself out of it, but I do not blame you.
No Chancellor for the Seahawks. It's going to make a big difference. They missed him last year, but remember they didn't turn into the team that got to the Super Bowl till they got him back.
That is true.
And they're talking he might sit. The players there are saying he might sit out the whole year.
I just can't see the Rams scoring anything. And that's against an average defense, where even if we accept that Seattle may be an average defense at this stage, the Rams' offense is putrid.
Well, they've been able to run the ball the last couple of years with some success. I don't know what to expect out of their passing game, but they might be able to run it.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, but okay. Next up, a game we cannot bet. The Detroit Lions are coming to the West Coast to play the San Diego Chargers. And they are 3-point underdogs. Even if I could bet this, I wouldn't want to. I have no idea.
No. I'm wondering what... Is it just they're basically saying these teams are even with the line at 3?
Exactly. Yeah, and that's kind of the way I see them. They're both, to my eyes, very middle-of-the-road teams. They both have glaring flaws.
I like Detroit's offense better. Well, just with their wide receiver talent. Johnson and Gates.
Yeah,
they're not Gates. What's his name?
Strangely, Ebron?
Tate.
Oh, Golden Tate, Ebron, and Calvin Johnson.
Yeah.
Yeah, Keenan, I like my quarterback a lot more, though.
Yeah, but what's your defense going to do? Or your O-line?
The defense played surprisingly well in the second half of the season last year, even though we lost most of those games. Our cornerbacks are good, but admittedly they don't match up well with Megatron, being as they're both comfortably under 5'10". We have no pass rush unless Ingram can bring one.
And your O-line looked a little weak in the preseason when the starters were in.
Looked weak for the last half decade, and let's see if that interior. I mean, Haloti Ngata is a good player, but he doesn't occupy 2 to 3 blockers like Sue did.
No, but you also have a rookie running back that could be blocking for your quarterback.
Yeah, that's true. And well, I think we're going to see a lot. I honestly don't even think we're going to see that much of Melvin. It's going to be more of a tandem. We're going to see a ton of Danny Woodhead. And I do think we can exploit the Lions with Woodhead as a pass-catching back.
Yeah, but if I'm the Lions and I see him come in on second down, what do you think I'm gunning for or watching for?
You still got Keenan Allen, admittedly missing our tight end. You're probably right. I think Detroit takes this.
Or at least covers. I'm taking Detroit.
Yeah, I got to take Detroit on this, too.
I'm just kind of shocked San Diego was 3-point favorites, but it's just the home. They're basically saying they're even.
Well,
on a neutral
Detroit's
field,
gone through a lot of transition, too, and as you said earlier, your secondary doesn't have to be that great if you've got the pass rush.
Yeah, it'll come down to
Removing Sue and Fairley from that Detroit line? No, he's gone.
Oh, shit. I thought he stayed.
No. And when he's gone, Detroit's been terrible. Like, I was reading a stat in Barnwell today from Grantland, and without Fairley, they dropped like 10 to 15 spots in every defensive category last year. So I just don't know what, though the San Diego offensive line is such a travesty that even with replacement level players, they'll probably force Rivers to get out the ball in 1.25 seconds. Luckily, he can do that, but I don't know if he'll be able to do it enough to win. I'm
going with Detroit. I think they have problems with Detroit's offense more than they have a problem with Detroit's defense. I think Megatron gets a lot of yards.
Yeah, I mean,
you can just throw it up for
even more. I mean, think back to Derek Carr with the Raiders last year. Those big, tall receivers just gave the Chargers secondary fits, even though the Chargers secondary isn't terrible. They're just small. Like, they're good from a skill standpoint, but just physically outmatched at points. Fair enough.
You can't teach size.
No.
And they just throw jump balls to Johnson against shorter corners.
Yeah.
And you can't defend it. So, that's my biggest factor. I don't know what Detroit's running game is going to be this year. Joique Bell, I don't know. Didn't they draft some rookies as backup?
Amir Abdullah. He had a great preseason game, and they almost gave him MVP already.
Yeah, I know.
Then he disappeared for the next 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Anyway. Next game up, the New Orleans Saints at the Arizona Cardinals. New Orleans is plus 2.5.
I don't want to bet this game.
No?
No, not really. Well, I kind of did, but I don't know what Arizona's going to be.
It's true, but let's factor in a couple of things. It's one of the best home field advantages in the league. New Orleans is a completely revamped offense. Their defense seems to have stood pat on a terrible defense, and it's Drew Brees on the road. Now, it is in a dome, but I think those are still three compelling arguments.
No, you make good... that's a good argument. It was the things I was thinking of. But how good's Carson Palmer going to be? One, they struggled against a Charger team last year. Wasn't that last year? They beat them by a point?
Yeah. That Chargers team was awesome in the first half of the year. Like, don't discredit that. I'm always down on the Chargers, but the Chargers were legitimate contenders 8 games through. And then injuries among the line, and they took a step back, actually played better. But, scraping to beat the Chargers by 1 point is not an insult to the Cardinals.
No, but we don't know what New Orleans' offense is going to look like. They were able to run the ball last year.
They
still have
Cardinals
threats that
have
wide out.
A really good defense still. How did Drew? I mean, this isn't meant to be snotty, but didn't you point out that Brees sucks against good defenses?
Yes, and they suck on the road. But every time we bet them on the road, they seem to somehow fucking cover.
Yeah, that's true, but that's superstition, and we want to move away from superstition.
That's not superstition. When it happens over and over again, it's not superstition. Look at that fucking game last year against Tampa. We bet against them.
Yeah.
And fucking Tampa gives up 21 in the fucking fourth quarter. It's not superstition. When we don't bet them, they lose on the road. When we do bet them, they fucking shit the bed. Or not shit the bed, they fucking come up with a game that defies logic and fucking cover.
No, well, what they do when we bet them, we usually bet them as favorites, and they fail to cover and squeak out a 3-point victory against disastrous opposition. This is a case where it's solid opposition in a place where Brees can't do his Peyton Manning 2.0, give any signals. He's lost his safety valve in Graham. Like, do you see anyone, like, everyone's raving about Brendan Cooks. Let's not forget that Brees is old now, too. I mean, I know this isn't affected by the cold or anything, but I kind of like this game for the Cardinals.
No, you've swayed me.
Well, it's in the mix. We're getting a big pick here. We got to pick up the speed.
Well, how can it not be?
Yeah, it's week 1.
How can it not be big? It's week 1.
Yeah.
Like you said, there's no trends or anything to go on because nobody plays anybody in the preseason. So you're kind of going on last year's and trying to forecast what changes have been made and all the other shit that goes into it. And Arizona's suspect at running back.
Well, Ellington was good till he got hurt, and now they've got that kid to spell him. Peterson is being treated for his diabetes, so he might not be such a disaster at corner. Honey Badger's back. Kuechly's sick. Aaron Donald is ridiculous. Like, I like betting the home defense.
Okay, well, it's in the mix. We'll see when we get down to the nitty-gritty.
Okay. Next game up, Baltimore Ravens are plus 4.5 at the Denver Broncos.
Not touching this one.
No, not with a 30-foot pole. No idea Baltimore's receivers. Their O-line's good. I like Denver's defense a lot. I have no idea about Peyton or his receivers.
Or his running game. Talk about not having a tight end safety valve anymore. Did they not go to Owen Daniels now?
Yeah.
Who's not horrible.
No.
And in this offense, he might be really good. Who knows? He was stuck in Houston for fucking 8 years. But
4.5 seems a bunch. I don't want to go anywhere near it. I even have trouble picking it. I'm going to go Denver because I really have no idea who Flacco intends to throw the ball to.
Oh, he's got Steve Smith and a rookie. He's got Perriman. And everybody was clamoring about.
Yeah, but I'm not certain Perriman is going to play. He hasn't been around for most of camp.
Yeah, all these guys getting fucking hurt.
Yeah.
And running back, they have Forsett.
Who I think is marginal. I think that was a statistical blip, much like McCown with Chicago.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't want to touch this. Peyton can't feel his fingers. The ball looked weird coming out of his hand the last half of last year. Had no zip.
Well, and even the little I saw preseason with him.
Well, yeah, we talked about it.
Yeah, I didn't see the zip. So where are you going on this one?
Denver.
Okay. Next game, we have the Cincinnati Bengals, road favorites of 3 at the Oakland Raiders. I don't hate the Raiders in this.
No, me either. I like their offense a bunch this year.
Khalil Mack is fucking sick, too.
Yeah.
There's a reason to watch Raiders games again. Got a quarterback who some people are saying is good, some not. I'm on the good side.
Me too.
There's some entertainment value there. I don't want to bet this.
No.
But
I'm taking the Raiders.
Yeah, I'm taking Oakland as well.
The time change, all that shit that goes into teams flying out west, I know it seems stupid, but it has an impact. And I like Carr, I like Cooper. Who's your running back?
Latavius Murray.
Yeah. He's not terrible. They had a decent set of... He put up numbers last year, Carr.
Yeah.
And Cooper
Though he threw the
fantastic.
ball about 6 inches in front of his face, but nevertheless, you can only throw to where your receivers are.
Yeah, but I like the Raiders' offense. And then Cooper against Seattle's number ones looked pretty damn good in the preseason.
Yeah, I mean, he certainly has desire. Like, he wasn't being that first-round pick prima donna at all. He was hustling. He was fighting for the ball. No, I think he's awesome. Don't like to hear it, but I'm taking Oakland.
Yeah, me too.
And then we have the Tennessee Titans at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They combined for a mighty 4 wins last year.
Well, I will say this. I'm liking Marcus Mariota a lot more now. From what I've seen, heard him interviewed, his demeanor, the talk coming out of camp, not the bullshit about no picks and all that got blown out of proportion.
No, I hated that.
But no, that was just for the Tennessee fans, and then it gets picked up nationally as a thing. It was just kind of giving you an idea how he was doing in camp.
Well, I even wonder if Wisenhunt told him, start of the preseason, throw a pick and a fumble. We won't put it on your grading sheet. Just get this shit off the plate. Because the little I've watched him, he looks crisp. He's looking downfield.
He looks pretty good.
He really does.
I hate to say it. Because at draft time, I didn't want him. He's the quarterback
for your team. You hate to say it because
Marlon,
being right is more important than actually getting a good quarterback.
No. But I've been optimistic on other quarterbacks. Vince Young and Locker had flashes. And it gets your hopes up.
That's true.
But the thing I liked about Mariota in the preseason was he didn't run downfield. He moved in and out of the pocket, but didn't look to run right away.
Yeah, I know this is going to piss you off, but this is what made Wilson good with mediocre talent. If you can do that, move around, avoid the rush, use a moving pocket, and then still throw the ball for either an incompletion or a completion downfield,
and he throws accurate on the run.
That's much better than some sort of zone read. Let's put our quarterback naked 7 yards down the field where he's a legal ball carrier and people can try to kill him.
Yeah, and it's weird they're making it a national game. Because it's late. That's one of the
In what sense? I don't understand that. Oh, okay. Oh, wow.
Four afternoon games.
Well, I would say that's more Winston than Mariota, but...
It's both. You got the number 1 pick against the number 2 pick. It's a national game.
Yeah, that's true.
They both have
Tennessee
big followings.
by the way.
Me too. I think Mariota's better than Winston. From what I've been reading about his throwing motion and how slow it is, it's Tebow-esque. He's got kind of a hitch, which isn't exploited in college, but in the NFL, if you have a hitch in your throwing motion, it's readily exposed because the closing time of the corners and the safeties and the linebackers is a lot faster than in college.
That's true, but it doesn't take him a full 5 count to get it off. Like,
no, but it's slow.
Talk about Tebow or whatever you want.
Watch it.
It's a slow release. Okay, I don't like that.
Watch it. Because your Chargers are on early, aren't they? No, they're on late too. Fuck. You won't get to watch it.
Well, that's if we even get Sunday ticket, because Shaw isn't offering it yet.
What?
Go look. I was on the website yesterday. Currently not available. Anyway, that's something we'll talk about once we stop recording here. Done. Yeah, I'm taking Tennessee in this game, though.
Me too. Not just because I'm a homer. I think they're a better team. I like our receivers. I like our defense. I like Casey. McCourty's not going to play our best corner.
McCoy is good for Tennessee. And I haven't bought into the resurgence of the muscle hamster, so that's about all I can have to say about Tampa Bay.
No, I think Winston's, excuse me, I said this to you before the podcast that Dick LeBeau usually has pretty good schemes for rookie quarterbacks when he was in Pittsburgh.
Oh, yeah, it's
and
like 52-4 against rookies
spot.
Or something as coordinator.
Our safety is, no, Cox is playing corner. Parrish Cox is an upgraded corner. Still have Griffin at safety, who's feasible. I like Arakpo and Morgan as our linebackers, and Jarrell Casey in the middle on the D-line is fucking great.
Casey's awesome.
So, I don't think we have a very good year, but I think we beat Tampa Bay. I won't be picking Tennessee a lot this year, because I had them pegged for 4 wins. But we do have talent at wide receiver. From everything I've read and heard about,
tight end.
Is it Dorial Beckham or Beckham Green, whatever the fuck his name is? All the words coming out of camp is he's going to be a beast in time. He sat out a year of college and we still took him in the second round. So if he pans out, we have top 7 tight end with Delaney Walker.
Yeah.
And our other tight ends were good too. We've got 5 tight ends on the roster we kept.
Well, and Wisenhunt, when he was offensive coordinator of the Chargers, really knew how to use the tight end. So,
and they used him a lot in the preseason, a lot, even with Mariota, not just against the scrubs.
Yeah, no, I like Tennessee in this game, and I don't know. Lovie Smith looks like he's just cashing a check to me.
Well, and the thing, they might use Mariota with the tight end like they did with McNair as the safety blanket with Wycheck when he started.
Yeah, well, that would be smart. Though Delaney's more of a downfield tight end.
Yeah, but I think you might see a lot of 2 tight end sets with Tennessee.
That's
3
possible.
wideouts,
And
2
if you
tight
can get a
ends.
possession guy to pick up that 6-yard safety valve play, I like that.
Yeah. So.
Okay, the Sunday night game. The New York Giants are +6 at the Dallas Cowboys. I want nothing to do with it.
Me either. Because who knows? I don't know what the Giants have on defense. I don't know what they have at running back.
Their O-line's atrocious.
I know they have Beckham and Eli Manning.
Eli had a great second half of the season. He was a disaster in the first half of the season. I don't know how well Dallas is going to run the ball. I don't know anything about this game. I just want to stay away.
No, I do too. I just don't know what... Their line's still good. They should still be able to run the ball. I don't know if they'll do as well as they did when they had Murray last year. But their skill position players are pretty strong. If their line is as good as it was last year... Well, no, they have 1. They just have Beckham. That's it. They have Akeem Nicks in.
Cruz potentially.
Cruz made, but he hasn't even practiced. He keeps saying he's going to play, but that hasn't come up. No Jason Pierre-Paul. He met with the Giants today, left without signing a deal.
Yeah, this is a true coin flip for me.
I'm taking Dallas.
Dallas's defense, I think last year was a surprise. I think their defense is going to struggle a lot more unless Dallas can once again run really long drives to keep them off the field. I'm not convinced they can do that as easily.
Well, I think they can do it against the Giants. Giants' O-line's weak. Their defense isn't going to be strong again this year.
In the rare statement, Dallas sucks at home.
Yeah, I still think they beat the Giants this week.
I'm going to take the New York Football Giants. And you can
Too
laugh
much talent
at me
on
next
offense.
week, but this is a coin flip. I'm just taking it because I'm getting 6. That's
Too much talent. Too much talent in Dallas on offense. The O-line was one of the best in football. I don't think that changes a lot.
That's
Romo
their
was
big
one of the best
strength.
quarterbacks last year.
I don't see a pass rush. I don't see a secondary or much of a linebacking core.
Well, they got Lee back in linebacker.
Well, are they playing him that
he's
much?
A Pro Bowl. Well, he's a Pro Bowl linebacker, so he upgrades
Oh no,
I
like Sean Lee, but I didn't know how much he'd be actually being worked in.
So, and McLean last year was good for him at linebacker.
Well, I think Eli's going to be throwing swings to whatever, but I'm going to take him with 6 points because I have no idea.
The Titans cut Hakeem Nicks, and he's in Giants camp. That tells you what they have at wideout outside of Beckham.
That's a solid point.
Couldn't cut it. Where was he last year? In Indy?
Yeah, Indy. He couldn't make it there with Andrew
cut.
Luck.
Got cut with Tennessee, who's not overly deep at wideout, behind Hunter, Wright, and Dorial Green Beckham. And he couldn't make it there. So the Giants are struggling. I know fucking Beckham is great, but I don't think you beat the winner of the division from the year before with one wideout and question marks everywhere else. That's why I'm taking Dallas.
Fair point. Okay, it's a Monday night doubleheader this week. First game up, the Philadelphia Eagles, road favorites, -3 at the strangely loud Atlanta Stadium.
No different than Seattle. What's the difference if you design to keep crowd noise in? Isn't that cheating too?
Yeah, that's a solid point. You brought it up in the cheating concept, but I had never thought about that before. Yeah,
it's still cheating.
Engineers can't cheat, I guess.
Well, no, but you can't be accused of funneling it in when your crowd makes noise, but it's not as loud as it should be, headed a place to escape.
So you put it through a cycle. Yeah, there's a good legal argument there. Atlanta should appeal. So, Arthur Blank, put another bullet in Goodell.
But that's why the whole Deflategate shit. Every team is trying to do something. The Spygate. Every team, and I meant to bring this up when we talked about it earlier. Every team fucking picks up if they're playing a certain team next week and they cut someone. They bring him in to fucking debrief him for a week and then cut him again.
Oh, I know.
So it's
like you're referring directly to the ESPN article there, right?
So it's just
but
anything to do with
bring them in just to pull them on signals. Yeah, that was
but the
article was a fair bit of horse shit. And
it's ESPN trying to cover their ass for getting everything wrong on Deflategate.
Well, and I think also, just from the SI article and the ESPN article weren't very different. This seems like the league was sort of demanding why. Like, this came out immediately the week after?
Well, yeah, it's damage control. Here's what they did before. We went after him because we didn't punish him harshly enough the last time? Fuck off.
Well, and with SI, let's talk about the tamest journalist in all of football, Peter King. You say SI doesn't have, or you don't say, but you know what I mean, is, SI has no dog in the fight. Yeah, they do. Peter King was raked over the fucking coals. Because he just spouted the league bullshit. So suddenly, ESPN, who leaked the stuff that they've never apologized for, which was wildly incorrect, and SI...
they did apologize. They did apologize, but it was at 1 a.m.
Oh,
Sports Center, when nobody's watching. When they released all the other shit prime time.
Ah. Yeah. Well, that's the corrections in the newspaper. But let's stick with the games here because we're already over an hour. The Eagles at the Falcons. Eagles are 3-point favorites. Don't want to touch it.
No, I don't either, but I think they cover comfortably.
I'm taking Atlanta.
The Eagles...
A team that tries so hard to win. Boyd, there is no correlation between preseason wins
I'm not
and
basing
regular
it on that.
season wins. Like,
I know it's not. I'm not basing it on that. Atlanta's defense was one of the worst in football last year.
True.
How are they stopping this offense?
How is Philadelphia Eagles defense, which was pretty weak as well, facing one of the better offenses in the league?
Yeah, well, we'll see.
On the road, yeah.
I like Philly. They put up 30 last year almost at will, even against decent teams. Atlanta's brutal.
Oh, brutal. Defensively.
Yes. Well, we don't know if they have a running game. Is Roddy White going to play? He was banged up through the preseason. He's old. How effective is he going to be? We don't know what the rookie running back. He's the starter, Coleman. Don't know what you have there. Their offensive line couldn't stop a pass rush. They have Julio Jones. They have so many question marks outside of Julio Jones and Matt Ryan. And last year, I watched them quite a bit because I had Julio Jones in fantasy.
Okay.
Ryan threw some ridiculous passes trying to make up for their fucking shitty defense. And their offensive line isn't very good.
It's not very good at all. You swayed me on that. Yeah, you swayed me on that.
And their Atlanta has no pass rush.
Zero.
Fucking Browns beat them last year. Their defense is suspect against an offense that can put up points like Philly. I'm taking Philly. And it had nothing to do with preseason. This offense can beat mediocre teams. It's not built to beat the really good defenses, can shut it down. But fucking mediocre to subpar defenses, they eat up.
Yeah.
And they have DeMarco Murray and Ryan Matthews running the ball. Jordan Matthews, Ertz, and, well, Riley Cooper's a fucking...
Well, and Ertz is right on the borderline.
But they move the ball with who... It doesn't matter. I think Bradford's better than Foles if he stays healthy in that offense.
Oh, absolutely.
So...
No, you swayed me. You got me about halfway through that little mini rant, and you were correct.
Well, both their lines suck.
Well, and Philly has to beat this mediocre to poor opposition like this, and they're going to beat them like a drum. Yeah.
So, yeah. I like it. Philly, you don't have to have a great defense. If they got top 15 defense, they're in the playoffs with that offense. Because they put up points. You may see more turnovers than other teams, but they just keep putting up points.
And you addressed it in your statement there, but Philly looks great against mediocre to poor opposition, and against good opposition, suddenly they're not that shit hot.
Yeah.
And you specifically addressed that, and that's pretty much where you won me over.
And they win 10 games a year. They might not make the playoffs, but they win 10 games.
Yeah.
This will be one of the 10.
Yep. Okay. And the final game, the Minnesota Vikings, -2.5 at the Niners.
I love this game.
This game opened... Okay, this is the only reason I don't like the game. Opened at the Niners, favored by 2.5.
Under a field goal, I love it. What does San Francisco have left?
No, I'm kind of with you, even though I love the notion of fading the public.
Not on this game. I'd fade it somewhere else. The Niners have nothing left.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing left. They have Carlos Hyde at running back, who's supposed to be good.
But they lost.
But at wideout,
Didn't they lose 2 people off the offensive line? Ayupati. And I thought they lost another offensive lineman, but I could be wrong about the second
to retirement. Alden Smith's out. Is it Ahmad Brooks? He's under investigation now for something that went down with Ray McDonald. Hasn't been suspended yet for some unknown reason. Wideout, they lost, what's his nuts? Crabtree to Oakland. They still have Bolden. They picked up Torrey Smith. And they have Vernon Davis.
Who's
but their
been
lines
vastly overrated his entire career.
Lines are decimated. Linebacking core is gone. Willis, Brooks, and Borland are all gone.
Bowman's there. Coming back from an injury, but he's only
that's
one
who
man.
I was thinking of, wasn't it? Wasn't it Bowman that's got the...
Bowman came back from that broken leg in the...
NFC Championship game 2 years ago. But yeah, their defense is gone. New coach.
My only hesitancy is, frankly, I've been thumping the Minnesota drum for a few months now, as you know. I just worry about my own conviction.
Peterson's back. Don't know what you're going to get for sure.
But, they were a pretty
credible
credible team without Peterson.
Yeah.
They were not a terrible team last year.
Wallace,
I think, is an excellent fit in a Norv Turner concept.
Yeah, because they like to throw deep.
Throw deep, and it's not like deep and run. I watched it for years with Vincent Jackson. It's not like Bridgewater has to get it there in a hurry. It's the arc ball, jump ball. Wallace is good at that. That's what he used to be good at. Speed, get behind, get the ball down.
And the amount of extra time he will get just having the threat of Peterson in the backfield.
Yeah.
Is Bridgewater. And he looked good. I didn't want to admit it at the beginning, but he looked pretty good at the end of the year. He was completing like 65% of his passes.
Oh, yeah. Well, he
half
had
of
the
the
highest
season.
accuracy of any quarterback, highest accuracy on the deep ball of any quarterback. Yeah, I worry about it simply because I've been pushing Minnesota so hard, as you know. I think they're a good
why would
team.
it change?
I don't know.
One of the worst
This is
teams in the NFC.
superstition. This is fucking superstition coming out.
Well, do you not think San Francisco is going to be one of the worst teams in the NFC?
I think they could be a complete flaming tire fire.
Kaepernick couldn't complete passes last year when they were decent, or like a 500 team. What the fuck's he going to do this year?
Kaepernick's brutal. Like, he's just terrible.
So,
But he wears Beats headphones, so.
and Minnesota had a good defense last year too.
Yeah, surprisingly good. Like, and that was being on the field a lot, particularly in the first half of the year, when they hadn't decided. And both those quarterbacks who started before Bridgewater got in there don't even have jobs now.
No. Well, Castle has a job.
Oh, Castle got rehired today. Yeah, sorry, I forgot my own news tidbit there. Okay, we like Minnesota. Okay, let's decide what we're gonna do. We had considered Cleveland. I'm just gonna take that off the list right now.
Yeah, let's take the underdog we both agreed on. Get that one out of the way. Buffalo.
Okay.
We might as well. We got to take the money line. It's under a field goal.
Yeah.
So we have Buffalo at home over Indy on the money line at plus 125. $10 pays 22 or 2050. Is that 22? I can't read.
Should be 22.
22.50. That bet is booked. Okay. So, we're taking Cleveland off the board.
We have
Even
left.
though I like
then,
that one.
We have Green Bay, KC, Miami, Arizona, and Minnesota left to choose from.
Okay. I know I pushed hard for Green Bay. Take that off the board just because of the 7 points. To me.
Yeah.
I say take KC off the board.
I agree with that.
Okay.
I like
and
Miami.
I was going to say we bet Miami and Minnesota. Or do you want to go Miami, Arizona? Or Arizona, Minnesota?
Yeah.
At 2.5 versus 3. But the fucking Redskins are a dumpster fire. But Miami on the road, fuck. Well, let's put it this way. I trust Minnesota more than I trust Miami at this stage.
Well, let's do what you originally said. Let's go Miami and Minnesota. Because if there's a quarterback I'm worried about, it's Palmer at this stage. In that bombs away vertical.
Yeah. Okay. So we've got Miami minus 3.5. $10 bet pays $19.09. Booked. And then we have Minnesota minus 2.5 at the 49ers. And that $10 bet pays $18.69. Booked. So if you want to give a quick recap of that, Marlon, please.
All right. We have Buffalo on the money line to beat Indy in Buffalo. 10 pays $22.50. We have Miami minus 3.5 to beat Washington in Maryland somewhere. $10 pays $19.09. And we have Minnesota to go to Silicon Valley and beat the Niners by 2.5 or more. $10 pays $18.69.
All right. Our pick shows will get a little cleaner after we get a couple of weeks in. It's just we need to talk a little more when we don't know what the fuck's going on with some of these teams. So, all right. If you want to check out our podcast, you can listen to it on iTunes or Stitcher for your Android device, on our website, offensivelines.ca. Follow us on Twitter at Offensive Lines for any blog posts, updates, or when a new podcast is available. Our personal Twitter accounts at OLinesMarlon or at OLinesBoyd, Facebook.com/Offensive Lines, and if you want to contact the show, you can email us at offensivelines@shaw.ca. I'm Boyd.
I'm Marlon, and football's back.
It's motherfucking game time.
Degenerate fucking gambler.